Hey, what's up, gang? Happy Friday afternoon to everybody. JG Pasterjack here. Special Friday edition of Grassroots Motorsports Live. Kind of an unofficial edition of GRM Live because we just received a couple days ago our Leroy Engineering tire trailer. This is the Grid 325 model. And we just kind of finished getting it ready to assemble. And before I start putting pieces together, I thought it'd be fun to kind of show everybody what this thing looks like in its sort of naked state, because it is gorgeous. I am Chris says the Leroy Jenkins tire trailer is here. Yeah, so the Jenkins model, the Leroy Jenkins model, actually leaves for the event before you finish packing it. That's the cool thing there. So yeah, I thought I'd hop on and show this to you guys, because the more stuff I unwrap and the kind of the deeper I got into taking the pieces out, the more I was just impressed with this thing. Every piece of this thing is so completely and ridiculously and comically overbuilt and over-engineered. We have ducks. We have these ducks that live in our yard and in our pond, and they're coming into the shop looking for a place to make a nest, and they're up, I think, on the roof of my office over there, rooting around somewhere. So if you see like ducks walking around in the background, that's on purpose. So yeah, we just thought we'd let you guys check this thing out and kind of show you just how cool it is. So for those that don't know, and let me explain the whole purpose of a tire trailer or a track trailer, an autocross trailer to you. What this is basically is, a lot of us, don't want to deal with a tow rig. We don't want to put a car on a trailer, put it behind a truck or a van or an SUV, tow it to the track, and then we've got to have a place to store that SUV. We've got to pay insurance on it. We've got to maintain it. We've got to maintain a trailer. We have to store a trailer. We have to have all this complication just to get a car to the track, when a lot of us are tracking our street cars, or we're autocrossing our street cars, or the cars that we're autocrossing are street legal and can easily be driven to the events or to a track day. But we don't want to drive on our track tires, and we want to take some tools with us. So that's where a track trailer comes in. This is basically a rig to haul your tires, haul some tools, haul some equipment. Basically, you can keep this is your support vehicle. Tow it behind your race car. When you get there, you pull your tires off of here, throw your track tires on the car, and baby, you're good to go. And you don't have to store a giant trailer. You don't have to insure another vehicle. It's a convenient way to be able to compete or to run track days with your street car. Yeah, Dean says it beats a used jet ski trailer. Yeah, man, there's some horror stories that I can tell you. Probably the most popular version of an autocross trailer or a track trailer is, your classic 4x8 Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply, those little steel U-channel trailers. And, they're a couple $100. I've had a bunch of them, because I've had some that literally just like disassembled themselves on the road behind me. And one of the criticisms I've heard people level against these is that they're expensive. And I mean, yes, empirically, this is a higher cost assembly than a Harbor Freight trailer. But if I look at the Harbor Freight trailers I've built, or the Tractor Supply trailers, or the Sam's Club trailers, or whatever, and I look at the money that I actually put into them by the time that I got them on the road, and by the time I made them somewhat reliable, boy, this does not seem, this suddenly starts seeming so expensive. The base version, this is their largest and most, like when you see the pile of stuff we got with it, literally what shows up at your house, you are ready to go when it's put together, and there's not much reliability modifications you're going to have to do to it. So Ian wants to know how many kegs it holds. you could probably get 2 full-size kegs up here in the tire well, and probably 2 more back here, and you know, have some room in here for like one of those lawn chairs that that has the foot attachment on the lawn chair. And let's see. Kai and Mia says their son has the same hoodie. Well, your son's cool, isn't he? That's awesome. All right, so let's take. What do we want to see first here? Let's take a look actually at the frame of this thing. One of the Leroy Engineering folks posted in a thread on our Facebook last night about the actual specs of the tubing. And let me see if I can pull it up so I'm actually quoting the right specs on this tubing, because that is worth mentioning here. Okay, so yeah, it is 2-inch diameter, 65 thousandths wall steel tubing. There are no bends. It's all cut and welded. 2-inch tubing is bigger than tubing you would see in a typical roll cage. I mean, this thing is almost absurdly overbuilt and over-engineered. It literally may be the last trailer you will ever have to buy to do this stuff with. So. Let's take a look at the sort of general layout here. Let me pan you guys down a little bit. So, just kind of looking at this thing design-wise, the first thing you notice is that the tongue is sort of extended upwards. The tongue doesn't just extend straight off the front of the trailer. That's because the trailer it sits very, very low. It has this extremely low center of gravity, and it does that partly by using an independent suspension. I'll show you the suspension pieces in a minute, but by using an independent suspension, you don't have to have an axle that goes across the trailer, which would raise the trailer, raise the center of gravity, and create a lot more, or create the potential for more instability. So by lowering the whole trailer, they've made the whole thing more stable. They've made it more aerodynamic because it's going to tuck in behind your car a lot better. So that's the reason behind the sort of raised gooseneck style tongue. It's because the whole mass of the trailer is now sunk down 7 or 8 inches below the level of a regular trailer. Everybody still wonders how many kegs it holds. This area in here is designed for this particular accessory. I believe is designed for a pop-up canopy to rest right in between your cargo box. The cargo box mounts back here. Your tires go up front there. This is the box that comes with it. It's actually a really nice Contico brand box. It's not one of the cheap thin wall molded boxes. It's like a really nice heavy duty box. So this mounts back here. I haven't exactly lined up where it's going to go. There's a few separate holes back here for it. There's also some open deck area that you've got some additional plates for that kind of mount over here on either side of it. So you've got room for like a gas can and a cooler, or 2 gas cans or 2 coolers, or more, basically more deck type storage. So yeah, Chris said torsion axle is another way to keep a trailer center of gravity low. And yeah, torsion axle is basically like imagine if your entire suspension was just a big sway bar. That's what a torsion axle would be. So you could actually sort of have the axle beam running under the trailer, and then have the arms could come up a little bit and keep the trailer a little bit lower. Yeah, another good way to do things. If maybe they looked into that. Maybe there wasn't sort of an easily accessible, commercially available torsion axle out there, or maybe they did their math and figured out that the independent suspension was the way to go. Let me give you guys a look at some of the parts this thing comes with, because they are equally as impressive as the trailer. And sorry, I'm flying solo today, so that's why I'm kind of doing this all myself. So we unpacked everything, and by we I mean me, and I've kind of laid it all out all here, so I have easy access to it as I'm putting it together. But here's, like, for example, here's the control arms for the thing. I mean, these are as nice as what I have on my F-mod car. You've got adjustable alignment settings, so you can actually adjust camber and toe on the things. So you have independent adjustments at the front and the rear for toe. The upper control arms are around here somewhere. They're in one of these marked. Yeah, here's the upper control arms here. So you can actually adjust the alignment of the thing. The inner mounts. What do we got? So we've got a nylon isolated steel bushing, and that's a full length steel bushing going all the way through there. Like, I mean, the only reason, that using a full length steel bushing in there, it increases cost, it increases durability. Obviously, because you don't have edges to create stress risers, but they've increased their own cost, but everything about this thing is so overbuilt and so over-engineered. I don't know what you would have to do to ever break this thing. It's ridiculous how sort of beefy and well thought. I mean, look at all the extra bracing you've got on these control arms. I mean, the thing is just absolutely built monstrously, and it's really impressive. It just every time I look at a part, I mean, I think these are like the fender brackets or something, but all this stuff is cut and hand welded. They could have just bent a couple of pieces of angle iron together, but they fabricated these pieces just to increase strength, to make it look a heck of a lot nicer, and the labor and the craftsmanship that went into this thing just blows me away. So I've been watching my iPad here. Let's see what's going on. Danny wants to know, is it powder coated? Yeah, the whole thing is powder coated. They can do custom colors. We were actually talking about having it powder coated to match our Corvette project car, since that's what it's going to spend most of its time behind. But we decided to just do it like our corporate sort of GRM red, and that would be the easiest. That would be the most evergreen thing. But yeah, there's no exposed metal in here anywhere that isn't like stainless steel like that, or aluminum, or anything sort of ferrous that could possibly corrode. So all the hardware is powder coated black, and the whole trailer frame itself is this just really gorgeous red color. But like look at the control arm mounts here. You look here, that they could have just made this a flat piece of steel with a hole drilled, here for the mount, and just welded it in there and been done with it. But they spent the extra time to actually design the thing and actually make it look like a crafted piece of equipment. And I appreciate stuff like that. I mean, I as a design guy myself, just to look at this, it's like, oh, somebody clearly cared about this when they were making it from plans into a reality. But so these are your upper and lower control arm mounts here. It's got these are cool. Check these out. So independent suspension. So it comes with these adorable little coilovers, which I'm guessing are probably originally sourced from like an ATV or a mountain bike, maybe. 750 pounds per inch springs. These are actually adjustable shocks, and they're threaded body coilovers. So based on your load, you can actually adjust your ride height a little bit to match your load. Ow! You can throw a little bit of spring preload in there if you have to. I really, these guys have been talking to us for a while, and we've been talking about the construction design of this thing, and I knew it was going to be nice when it showed up, but I did not. I didn't really have any idea that it was going to be this nice. Stuff like this, like guys that have an idea and that sort of work to make that idea into a reality, especially like small independent business folks. I really dig that stuff. Like I really dig that sort of creative kind of maker spark in people that really seems to be nurtured now in a lot of areas of the culture. And I look at this and I'm blown away with how well made it is and how they kind of found this really niche market of guys that tow their tires behind the cars they autocross or run on track. And they applied some really cool problem solving ideas to it, and they produced this. So what I want to do here quick is see if we got any questions. Nothing. Let's throw a couple of tires on here. So they got a few different models. This one is the Grid 325, which is built wide enough to accept a set of 4 325 millimeter wide tires. I'm just going to throw a couple of 315s on here right now and see how they fit. Now there's actual tire plates that go on here. There's like tire cradles that attach into these holes here and fasteners. So I'm just kind of looking at the general full width of the thing now to see how some wide tires will fit on there. So I'm going to throw 2 315s. These are both the rears off the Corvette. So these are 315s on a 10.5 inch wheel. And they are on there with over 3 inches of space to spare. So I'm thinking, yeah, there's even to the widest point, that's 2 3/4 to the bulge of the tire, and almost 3 to the bulge of the tire. So these are 315s on 10.5s. This is easily good for 325s, probably good for 335s too. They do have a 335 version that obviously 335s will fit on, but it looks like even above what they think this is rated for, what this was designed for, there's probably a little bit of a safety margin beyond that as well. So I am not at all worried about this holding. You know, the current setup we're using is a pair of 315s and a pair of 275s. No problem there. Even if we were running all 315s, I bet. You know what? I may have a 335 junk tire sitting around here somewhere. Hang on for a second. Let me go see if I can find some 335s. Hey, found some. Found one anyway. So here's a 335. Not on a wheel, obviously. So let's see how this fits on there. So that's 13 and a quarter. I bet it would be close, but I would not be surprised. Let me grab the other one just to see. Okay, so here is there's a pair of 335s on there, and they're they got some room. So yeah, you can just barely squeeze a set of 335s into the 325 trailer, but they make a 335 version as well, so those would be, you know, no problem for that. So yeah, I'm excited, guys. Okay, that is, let's scroll down here and see if we got any questions I missed. Nothing major. So that's pretty much it. Here's what we're gonna do with this is I'm gonna start this weekend putting it together. I'm gonna shoot some time lapses on the actual assembly, and in a couple of weeks, you know, maybe by the end of February or so, we'll have it together, and we'll get some of the guys from Leroy Engineering on to answer some questions, and we'll do a Wednesday night show. We'll just do a whole segment kind of focusing on this once it's built, and I'll take it out and tow it around a little bit and see how it works on the road. But you know, initial impressions is I knew I was going to be impressed just talking to people that have had them and built them already, and talking to the guys at Leroy Engineering, but I was not really aware of how impressed I would be. I mean, you know, when you look at the craftsmanship that went into this, it doesn't really seem any concerns about price or value just kind of disappear, because every nickel of the price of this thing is absolutely represented in here. I mean, every piece of this thing was individually hand wrapped and bubble wrapped and taped and put in the box. There is just an immense amount of effort going into these things, and a lot of good ideas and a lot of good design, and I'm excited to get it on the road. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, maybe I'll check in again. It's going to take me a while to build it because I got to shoot time lapses and stuff. But you could probably, if you just sat down to do it, you could do it in a day. You know, it'd take you a couple hours to unpack it, and probably 5 or 6 hours to build one from the ground up. But you know, it's slower for us because we got to take pictures and stuff. So that is pretty much it, folks. We'll check, see if we have any last minute questions. Doesn't look like anything. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope you got some good plans this weekend. If you're in the South or you're in the Southwest somewhere and it's still autocross season, I hope that's going well for you. If you're up someplace where you're frozen in, just maybe hang in there. It'll thaw out sooner or later, and we will be here when it does, and love to hang out with you. So we'll see you again Wednesday night for sure. We're gonna have Hayward Wagner on the show coming up on Wednesday. Oh, if you're coming to Daytona next week, if you have one of our GRM passes for Daytona, obviously, you know, come hang out in the tent. If you've got the GRM Experience Pass, you're welcome. Be there all week. You're welcome to have our great parking. If you have the Stadium Pass, you are more than welcome in the tent. You can hang out for all the functions, except dinner. But you're welcome in the tent. You're eligible to go on all of the GRM behind-the-scenes tours, and you're eligible for our golden ticket prizes. So if you have one of the Stadium Passes or one of the GRM Experience Passes, if you didn't get one of our passes, if they sold out before you got a chance to get to them, you know what? Come by anyway. Our ticket holders get priority for our tours, but we always seem to be able to find room to sneak a few more people in. So you might be able to sneak into one of our tours, and we go to some pretty cool places. And we also have, for all of our ticket holders, we have our golden ticket experience available. It's just somebody taps you on the shoulder, and the next thing you know, you're riding around in a pace car or you're on the starter stand. We get these opportunities throughout the weekend, and we try and share them with our readers whenever we can. Oh, also, whatever you're doing, come by Buffalo Wild Wings in Daytona Beach. It's right next to the track. Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Come by Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to be having our kind of welcome party dinner there right after the Continental Challenge race ends. So we'll be setting up there about 6:30. We got like the whole party deck reserved for us. Everybody's welcome. You know, come hang out. There's going to be a lot of cool cars in the parking lot, and good wings inside. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you and me. Maybe we sit down with a plate of those Buffalo Wild Wings, blazing wings in between us, and we go wing for wing, baby, and see who breaks first. And we'll see how that goes. So that is it for this one. We will see you again Wednesday night for sure on the regular weekly show. And until then, thanks for joining us on a quickie little Friday afternoon check-in. I'm JG Pasterjack, and we will see you again on GRM Live, presented by CRC Industries. Bye, everybody.